Hello there, Facebook friends. Alex here, along with
Janine
and Brandon behind the camera. Excited to be back with you here on a Tuesday with another virtual hard hat tour. And even though we took off last week, a lot of progress has been going on, and we have a ton of stuff to show you tonight. So we're excited to have you join us. And we're actually starting on the second floor for the first time.
We are starting on the second floor, which is very exciting because, yeah, like you said, we have 2 weeks of all expansion things to cover, and we've got a lot to cover today, which is very exciting.
Yeah, and we want you guys to join in on the fun. So Janine's going to be monitoring the comments, so make sure if you have questions, go ahead and type them below. If you just want to say hi, you can do that as well.
We welcome all comments.
Yes, any pithy
Speaking
comments.
of pithy comments, a joke. Alex, what do you call an explosive monkey?
Oh, I don't know.
A baboom.
Was that joke just hanging around?
Yes, it was. It's bananas. Brandon's face palming.
Alrighty, well, that's a good way to start things. So, quick pan over here. So we're in the expanded foyer upstairs on the second floor. And this is all prep work for the plaster. You see they've prepped all the walls. They're going to start working on the texture on the walls, the plaster cove. We'll be downstairs towards the end of the tour and show you all the progress there because they're wrapping up downstairs and they're going to be coming up here. So just starting to mobilize with everything up here. But probably the biggest change in the expanded foyer in the last week has been the concession stand. We are so excited about this, guys. So a couple of things. I think the last time we had a hard hat tour, the wood base was in, but we didn't have the countertops yet, and we didn't have the decorative metal on the front. The tile has gone in, as well as the tile back here. Now, we've been talking about this tile back here for quite a few weeks, and it's been, I don't know how many months since we last picked this out.
It's been a minute.
we knew it was coming, but we hadn't seen it in quite a while. So it's kind of one of those things, I hope we still like it.
Yeah.
And we are in love with it. So very cool up here on the second floor, the concession stand here. Again, we're gonna have 2 serving stations here. We've got the quartz countertops in. When we go downstairs, we'll show you those again under some better lighting.
Yes.
There will be more light up here, but things are a little dusty right now. But we also had cabinets put in. So up here we've got storage cabinets. There'll be a sink here, some more countertop space. There'll be some refrigeration that goes underneath here for wine, bottles of water, other things up here. And this back wall is what is just absolutely stunning. If you look at this, these are actually glass tiles, very Art Deco with their kind of
frosty, smoky
patina.
Because, we wanted it to not be, you don't want to be standing in line being like, you looking right at yourself. So maybe that's a personal problem. But either way, it breaks it up. It makes it mirrored without being aggressively mirrored, if that makes sense.
And it's not super modern. We didn't want something that was modern, just a big sheet of glass. So this was something really interesting. The color tone is probably really hard to tell through the camera, but kind of that patinaed look in here really ties in with the color here. Brandon, I don't know if you can get some of the close-up color here under the light. So in the quartz countertop here, there are little flecks. I would like to say they're gold, but they're not. So there's some little metallic flakes in there that really pop the color out, really capture the light. Really happy with that. The other thing that's happened up here in the last 2 weeks, the floor has been done. While it's a little dusty right now from construction, this is actually an epoxy floor, and it's kind of hard to tell, but it has some texture to it. And I don't know if you can get down in close at all.
It's kind of like sand.
It is. So very Egyptian. That's why we picked it out. This is actually sand that we brought over from Egypt.
Yeah.
Yes, right? That's what we're going with?
Yeah, no, that's correct. The sheep that were custom dyed in New Zealand, and now we have Egyptian sands. Guys, we are sparing no expense and spending your dollars in the most responsible way. In humor and lightheartedness.
Yes, but what's important about this floor, a couple of things. Being an epoxy floor, there are no grout lines, there's no seams, so in terms of from a cleanliness standpoint, makes it that much easier to clean. We don't have all those different grout lines and stuff to try and keep clean.
Anti-slip.
Also with the texture, as Janine said, anti-slip, so if we get water on the ground back here, with having a liquor license now, if other things spill back here, you're not going to slip and fall. So you said we have some questions.
We did have a question about that exterior window. It is not frosted. It's just a tarp up right now to protect it from all the plaster dust.
Yep.
So it is see-through. It does have UV protection, so it'll protect our carpet and any artwork and plaster work that's in here. But no, that is just protective covering for now.
Temporary.
Temporary.
Yep. Any other questions so far?
No, everyone is loving the mirrors.
Yes,
We're
in love with it. They are absolutely amazing. So.
Yeah, we could stand here forever.
Yes.
It's just so cute.
Even the contractors have been commenting on how cool this wall is. They said when the tile first came in the boxes, they weren't quite sure how it was going to look. I feel like that's been a lot of the things have come in, some of the contractors, because we're using materials that they don't normally use on job sites.
Right.
And so a lot of the stuff, whether it's in the restrooms or now in concessions, I think on their own might look a little odd.
Right.
And then everyone that has seen everything as it's come together has just complimented the decisions have been made, the design.
Yeah.
It's just really coming together nicely.
That's when we were talking about, like way back when we first really started meeting with our interior designer and everything. 1920s were a little extra. Like they went big. So what would be gaudy now is totally on brand and in vogue in 1929. So to find ways to have these elements that are super, super, centerpiecey, like the lotus flower tile in the women's bathroom, of finding stuff that is that extra level of the Roaring 20s. So yeah, what would be kind of like calm down guys in 2020 is very, very fitting for 1929. So we wanted to pay homage to that, but again, not have you guys walk in and be like, my goodness, they went. So that's why we wanted to do architectural elements that are really centerpieces.
So the other thing we'll show off up here, and we'll let Brandon do a little flyby, the baseboard, no pressure. Nice, smooth, there you go. So this is the wood baseboard trim. I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago. On the first floor, they were just starting to install it. And this baseboard trim is an exact replica of the original baseboard trim that was in the building. So we were able to match the profile exactly. Even though this is all new, it matches, so everything is cohesive. So this has taken a lot of time up here for them to install around all the corners and everything. It's actually 2 pieces. So there's the flat bottom piece, and then the decorative kind of profile along the top is a separate piece. So it's actually a lot of work to install all of this, and they're putting this in, they'll actually plaster down to the baseboard. So that's why you see it going in prior to the walls being done, because the textured plaster walls will go right down to this baseboard trim.
Yes, and we did have a question from Mary about our menu boards. They will be digital, so we had to wait. You can see how there's, hopefully you can't see super well because they are
purposely hidden. We've
got some outlets up here, so that's where the TVs will be placed. They will be digital menu boards, which will be really nice because any of our volunteers can know sometimes we have a show and Sour Patch Kids are the thing and we run out. So then we could put up a quick sold out sign, or if we have a show that has a specialty drink or something that we want to push for the holidays or something of that nature, we are able to change and customize those for each show, for a movie series, for all these different types of things, which should make it easier for our patrons to know what we have to offer and easier for our volunteers to know what we're serving. Yeah. So yes, those will be going up in the next couple weeks or so.
Yeah, potentially in the next 2 weeks, we'll start to see some of that digital signage going up, and I know I've been looking forward to that, along with everything else. But
we keep saying, we're like, I've been looking forward to that so much, but every time it's just the next thing, which is the carpet.
Yes. So anything else up here? I think out in the mezzanine here, they've just started working on some of the plaster work.
Yep.
Brandon can maybe show around some of the pink walls out here.
Sticky stuff.
Janine, if you want to remind people what the pink walls are for.
It's sticky stuff.
Yeah.
So sticky stuff, meaning, so you can see we obviously have existing plaster, but then we have pieces where it's coming off. So to put plaster on top of existing as well as parts where it might have fallen off, they needed to put this pinky base which gives it an extra little grippiness. So when I'm using very technical terms, I've met with them many times. But no, it gives it an extra grip so the plaster work really sticks, and then it's going to look like one cohesive wall of plaster. And you would be surprised how many different ways there are to apply plaster, guys. We've had a guy, so he does a little like swoop-de-doo, again, technical terms.
Sample board, let me grab it right here.
So we had him do all these different methods of applying plaster. So there were some where he was kind of just, that was too spiky. Then he was swirling, well that was too swirly. So he was a swirl and a spike. I feel like I'm describing in Seinfeld episode. We're like, was it a swirl and then a
different
spike?
techniques. Yeah.
So you can see how it has that pattern and it's still got some of the movement. So again, I cannot overemphasize how much of an artist these people truly are. Like they truly are artists in how they can take what is can you make it more swoopy, less spiky? And they're like, yeah, we've got you. And they can take our layman terms words and turn it into exactly what we have in our mind, which is fantastic.
So very excited with how that's turning out. Like I said, they're just starting to work on the second floor here. And so we'll be seeing a lot more progress up here coming soon.
Yeah, so it won't look quite so shining, bloody walls. It will be all complete plaster. Yeah.
So this has got the base coat on it. So they do the pink. You can kind of see behind here a little bit. The pink was on there first, then they put this rough base coat on. And then the last step will be to actually put the textured finish over that and blend it in with everything else.
Did we talk about this before?
I think so.
We're doing that.
It's been a while. Yes.
In case you forgot. So these are going to be spiced up, give a little more zhuzhing. Yes. And we're going to also put those downstairs on the columns, which we will show you when we head downstairs.
Yeah, so any questions before we head downstairs?
No.
All righty.
We have questions on if centerpiece is a word, and I will stick by it, Sue. I have nothing to back that up. Yeah, please.
So believe it or not, it is starting to clean out. Some of the contractors have started taking out some of their work boxes as some of the different trades are finishing up. Still have quite a ways to go to clean up. And as we've talked about over the last couple of months here, it's been the silver lining is that we've been able to really move forward with construction full force, not having shows, and allowed us a lot more flexibility to just get a lot more work done, not have to worry about hiding and cleaning up everything every week, and trying to find a spot for all this stuff. So
It'd be
it's
impossibly.
been a lot less stressful from that standpoint.
Yeah. We can compartmentalize our stress.
Yeah, so let's reveal down here the even more glamorous concession stand. You guys, we could not be more happy with this. So upstairs is going to have this as well, but it's not on yet, and it's the accent lighting. So if you notice, there's LED lighting underneath the countertop there. That's helping light up this accent piece. And we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, but again, this design matches exactly the railings out in the lobby, as well as up above the front doors as you come in there. So we matched that, added that detail on the front there, and we've got the LED lighting to really accent that, and it's just absolutely stunning.
It is. And
we'll
then
let
we
you show off.
Look at our new candy cases. So, A, exciting because they are lit. Look how bright. They are in a dimmer, so are they set to like the highest right now?
Yeah, they're just on it full.
They're ready! So we know where the candy's at. But we got nice glass shelves. You see the gold behind it. Again, just making this concession stand make sense. Again, feeling of the era. But all you volunteers will really appreciate this. It opens from the front. I don't think there's a key.
The keys on that side. Super easy to access, change things, clean. The general public could not possibly appreciate this little detail with how challenging the old candy cases were to just clean or change out things. So it's these little details that we are very excited about and so thrilled with how these details are coming together. Again, this detail on the front of the concession stand we had always hoped it was going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And when it came in, I think we were all just blown away at how cool it really turned out.
Yeah, and then you can see Brandon has displayed one of our lovely new, we had them in use for a bit in the spring.
Last fall for the first time.
So this is our new register, our new point of sale, if you will. So it's nice. You can pay with watch, pay with phone, pay with card, with chip, pay with slide, pay with cash, all the different ways. But again, nice, sleek, sexy, clean, because we want this, again, to be focused on the beauty, the architecture, not having a big clunky way to sell our product. So this was very nicely chosen by Brand.
So let's go behind the concession stand here. So again, we'll have a pair of doors here that will block off. The general public won't be able to come back here, but this is where kind of behind the scenes will be that will allow you to come into concessions here. Tile work has started going up here. This is the new entrance into the first floor concessions. We've got a new hand wash sink here. In the same quartz as you see everywhere else. And one of the details we have upstairs as well that we didn't point out, Brian, if you're able to kind of show off the little tray here. So this is, when we're making drinks and stuff, so we don't get things spilling all over the counter. We've got a little trough here to help catch any liquids and stuff on the counter, especially now that we're going to have our own liquor license, doing a lot more drinks here, not just soda drinks. But heck, even the old concession stand would have been nice to have this.
I like that you called it a trough, because I feel like we should put popcorn in it and like,
yes. Very Midwestern, right?
Very Midwestern.
Yes.
And I want to point out, Mary, you have confirmed that our volunteers miss nothing. Brandon, you changed the order of the display case, and the least expensive used to be on the bottom. And we talked about how our volunteers would immediately notice, so thank you.
We did that on purpose to see if you guys would notice.
And
so
we knew our volunteers would notice. So thank you for being super observant and knowing all of the details of this theater inside and out, because we know you guys know this place like the back of your hand.
So the quartz countertops have gone in, and over the last number of days, they've been working on the tile back here. If you want to pan down here, Brandon, where I think they've already done the grout and started cleaning off some of the tile. So we have a lot more back wall here than we do upstairs.
Yes.
But there'll be equipment. We've got the popcorn machine down here, as well as there'll be digital signage down here. Just absolutely thrilled with how this is turning out.
Well, and we are so excited because we have measurements and obviously we have drawings of how big this space was going to be, and we tried to kind of get a feel for it in the old concession stand. It's bigger than we thought it would feel. It really does feel nice and spacious. Any of our volunteers or anyone who's been behind our concession stand, especially our old one, gets a little tight. So this is going to be nice, and especially we designed this so you're not running down to get a bottle of water and then back and then to get popcorn and then to get candy. You should be able to really live in your space of where your point of sale machine is, so that if there's a popcorn sale, you have one person there that's handing them out, and then you have all of your equipment that you're going to need right here. So it's going to make this process just streamlined, because when we have those big shows, we have those sold out shows, we want our patrons to be able to get what they want, get to their seat, enjoy the show, and not have to be like, geez, they have to run here, there, this, that behind the concession stand. So much more streamlined process for our volunteers back here.
And just to give you a little idea of where things used to be. So right here where Janine is standing, this was the end of concessions. Popcorn machine was right here. We had the pop machine here in the middle. And then down here was the door to get in and out of concessions, and that was a solid wall there. So we're pretty much the same footprint, but down here, we were able to extend it probably another 6-7 feet here. So this would have been the wall going into the women's restroom. This is now part of the concession stand, so we were able to pick up another serving station here.
Yes.
This would have been right about where the sinks were in the old women's restroom, which is just bizarre. Again, this column here, this was the corner. If you remember sitting here in front of the popcorn machine, we had some of the original seats from 1929 that were out here. So it's just amazing how much this has opened up out here.
And then we also, as you can see, the lower area there added ADA access. So any of our patrons that maybe can't reach to this countertop or wheelchair bound or whatever needs they may have, we wanted to offer that as well for an ADA station. So someone who's right here can service any of those patrons as well. So wanting to make everyone feel welcome when we can get back together and enjoy entertainment.
Yes. And we've also got the epoxy floor back here. So much like upstairs, same thing. And I don't know if you're able to show kind of the cove or the base cove there, how the epoxy floor goes right up. Again, this is to help make sure that there's no seams or anything. So any liquids or water that gets on the floor, it's watertight. So we could, in theory, make it like a little kiddie pool and wouldn't have any water going under, growing mold, getting under the cabinets, anything like that.
We're going to have Hot Girl Summer back here and flood it like a kiddie pool and just drink White Claws and popcorn. Love it. And we do, Mary has asked a question that we could go back and show. Are those drink ledges around those posts?
So let's go ahead and come around out front here. So since the quartz came in just last week, they installed not only the concession stand counters, front countertops, back countertops, but the drink ledges that we've been talking about for, I think, months now, ever since we opened up these columns. These came in last week and have been installed, and I am in love with them.
Yes.
I've already told everybody, I think every single show, people are going to be congregating around these. These columns still need to get painted, but the quartz is in and installed. We've been told little kids can hang from this, and not that we're encouraging that, but these have been solidly installed, and just thrilled with how they turned out. This is the same quartz as the concession stand, so everything really ties together. And once we get more of the lighting in here, I think the colors out of that quartz is really going to pop. So we've got two of these. The last two columns down here each have these drink ledges around the columns.
And any of you concerned for the base of our columns, like I was, they are going to have the baseboards put around them. So when we're vacuuming around them, when we're moving equipment around back here, we're not going to be eating up the base of these columns. So that'll be really nice.
And again, we've talked about, we've got three columns here. Only these two down here are going to have the drink rails. The one right in front of the concession stand does not have one of those drink rails, since this is basically flanking on either side of lines here. We didn't want to encourage people to congregate around where we've got lines forming for the concession stand. So that was intentional to only have these two. But again, I think a really fun detail that hopefully people will enjoy when they're here.
Did we talk about the finishing already?
I don't know if we talked about all the holes and stuff, so should probably start like down here with kind of show the different steps. I'm going to see if I can find a cord to plug in.
Cord to plug in. So, as we've talked about, we're doing decorative plaster, which is an exact replica of the decorative plaster crown molding that's up in the mezzanine. So you can see it looks gorgeous, but it's a little rough. You can see how they've attached it to the wall. You can see the seams in there, the seams in the corner. So, while it's very exciting that they've made these plaster pieces, it looks even better when it's all finished, and we have some further down that have the finishing touches made to them, and it makes it look like they made a seamless rectangle and just went pew. Technical terms again.
Yeah, so they're over halfway done with all of the plaster coves here. And
so
Janine can show you off what they've been doing to finish that off.
So you can see, look how they filled the seams. Look how they're making it look like one nice seamless piece. Very, very cool. And me and Alex got to partake in making one, which was very exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool process. We took some video and photos of it.
Yeah.
So we'll figure out a time to try and share some of that. But it is a really cool process to be a part of that, to help put together this cove, and know that it's going to be up here hopefully for 90 years.
Hopefully. I'm going to know which one's mine, and if anyone breaks it, I'm coming for you. So no, really exciting to see how it's quite hot, which obviously makes sense, chemistry.
Yeah.
But how they lay it down, how it forms really quick, how they use the hemp to make it more structurally sound, and just really cool. The guy who's done it has been doing it over 20 years.
Yeah.
And he just walked us through, and very, very, again, interesting to see the artistry. And then you have someone here just on how Brandon was walking across, just meticulously filling in every little crack, every little hole. So then when these get painted, hopefully it looks, again, like it's been here forever.
So the other detail we've been talking about forever is the LED cove lighting. And while most of the cove lighting is up there, we haven't been able to turn much of it on yet. So we have a little chunk here that we're able to show you is kind of a sample before the whole cove gets turned on. So you can see the light up behind the cove there. Now right now the ceiling is just raw plaster, so it's super shiny. It's almost like a mirror up there.
Yeah.
This will get painted, and so once that gets painted, you're not going to see, I don't know if you can tell in the camera or not, but you can actually kind of see the reflection of the light fixture up there. But you won't be able to see that once it gets painted. And to have all of these different bays with that recessed lighting is just going to provide a lot of really gorgeous lighting in this back area. This is going to be a really fun area to kind of congregate, to have special events, not only at shows, but if there's weddings, private events, fundraisers, business meetings, all sorts of things here. This is going to be a really fun space to hang out back here, especially with this cool bar now.
We're very cool.
Yes. Yeah, so let me run up here real quick.
I was like, how do you get to that part? There he goes.
Here, how long of a leash do you have on you?
A leash, you say?
Yeah. All right, so I'll show you up here. So even though the cove we've talked about is going all the way around each of these bays, above each aisle door there's this little notch where it doesn't continue. And if you see in the middle there, this is a junction box. They're not up right now, but if you remember, those of you that have been here before, above each aisle door we have lighted, kind of stained glass aisle numbers. So this is where those go. Because of how tall they are and original, we wanted to keep those, and so the cove was not able to go all the way around, and that's going to be the same thing at each of the aisle doors there.
We did have a question about our lovely new popcorn machine. So, you see it, it's wrapped up, it's cute, it's shiny. We're very excited to use it. I think we bug our electrician every day as to when we can use popcorn machine. But, Sue, it does have the ability to do kettle corn. So, get your sweet tooth ready. We're super excited, and we'll probably do a live stream the minute we have popcorn, because we ask Jared every day, and he's like, guys, cut it out. We're like, but popcorn though.
If we use the upstairs one first, we won't have kettle.
So
baby
that's
steps.
baby steps. We're gonna break them in nicely.
So then I also want to show on the column here,
yes.
we just got today a mock-up of the new Plaster Capitol that's going to go around the top of these columns. So Janine pointed out upstairs that new plaster detail that we're adding more kind of paint to and some gold leaf trim to. So this was just a sample profile. This will wrap around the top of each of these three columns down here. They were able to match this identically off of the capitals from upstairs, and that's just the trim piece around the top here. So they did a mock-up for us. They actually traced it upstairs, did a drawing for us, and then today they came and installed this. We gave it the green light, love it. So they're going to continue making these and wrap the top of each of these columns, and that'll really help tie these together with the design upstairs and really finish off this space.
Really finish off. It's looking so, and one of the things that I hope, we've said of things we hope we hear when people come in, like
yes.
people, we had one person so far say they had to wear a jacket because it's cold, and we're like, that is correct. I hope, because I feel like we've raised the ceilings in here. Like, it feels like it's higher. It's not. Guys, it is the same height that it's been because we were up against concrete of the mezzanine. So we didn't have room to move it up and down. So, but just adding these extra layers, adding this extra lighting, having this the space, it just feels like, and as you can see, it's pretty rough still. It still feels light and airy and lifted. So I really hope I have someone come in and go, oh, that's really nice that they raised the ceilings up. And we go, we did, and it's all optical illusions.
So other work they've done here in the last 2 weeks, we'll let Brandon kind of take a quick run around the room. All of these, yes, all these plaster, all these plaster walls, just like we were talking about upstairs, matching the texture. They have redone a lot of these walls, and so once this gets painted, the hope is it all kind of blends in with the existing plaster walls that are there. But down here, there was a lot of new walls that needed to be done. So the restroom vestibule, completely brand new, and that's been textured, so that's ready to be painted now. It's probably kind of hard to see with the lighting, but once this gets painted, should be really cool as you start to see the glaze that goes on here and all the different colors that really help make that texture pop. So we have the restroom vestibule that's been done. This whole new wall, again, this is where the men's restroom used to be. And so those walls have been completed, all new textured exterior walls there. Coves are done up above, and then to your right, this back wall as well around one of the new TV niches where the digital signage is going to go. This wall has also been completed. So we're getting really close to being done with the plaster here on the first floor. As we talked about at the beginning of the tour, they're going to be moving up to the second floor, and starting June 22nd, right now is the tentative date. The painters will be coming in. They're going to start down here on the first floor and work their way up, following closely behind the plaster workers that hopefully will be finishing up on the second floor about the same time towards the end of this month.
We've had a request to see the bathrooms. We don't have anything to update. So Melissa, if you really want to get like a full in-depth, go back to some of our old ones because we talk about it a lot. But we can still show you the women's on the first floor. Look at the tile, look at the wood partitions. If you want to get the nitty-gritty, Melissa, we've gone into it. Probably go back at least 3 weeks is when we really start talking about the wood partitions, how we modeled them off the originals, just all the different design elements that we wanted to add into these bathrooms. So this is the women's. Look how large. It's ginormous, and we can't wait for everyone to come in and look at our bathroom, which sounds weird, but it's very exciting. And then we can show you the men's. Hey friends, we're gonna have a little walk around. So you see the women's is kind of light, gray tones, light and airy, powder room-y. And then we have the men's, which has more of a traditional masculine vibe with the darker, the olive tones, the dark slatey grays, and then just a little different of a vibe. We've even gone, I think we talked about this in our last hard hat tour, we've gone as far as to customizing the air fresheners, that the women's will be more lightly scented and the men's will have more of a masculine feel. So again, we've got our lovely partitions. If you want to see and hear us talk about it at length, you have the opportunity. We have
So let's head back to the back storage room and kind of finish off there showing the prep kitchen. One of the other things I don't think we talked about upstairs or down here, but we did purposely put tile in front of the concession stands. This is something I think we all would have loved to have with the old concession stand. But the old concession stand, we had carpet that came right up underneath the concession stand there. It was really tough if people dropped drinks or even popcorn with butter and stuff on it. The carpet right in front of concessions was always really hard to keep clean. So it was actually an idea that we got in touring other historic theaters. We noticed they had put tile in front of their concession stand, and so we thought that was a great idea. Really happy we did that. So they just installed that this past week. So the carpet will come right up to the tile, and then kind of these last 3 feet in front of the concession stands, we've got tile. It'll make it a lot easier to keep clean and tidy up any messes. And then in this little vestibule here, we talked about earlier going into concessions, also starting to get, we've been nicknaming it our command center, but we've got some shelves that have been installed. There'll be all sorts of different screens here, buttons. We want to add levers just for the fun of it. But this is really going to be important for us to be able to monitor not only the safety of everyone, but communicate with patrons as well as our volunteers, staff, control lighting, the TVs, audio, all of that stuff is going to be able to be done from here in one location. So it's going to make our job a lot easier, a lot more efficient, make it a lot more enjoyable for you guys. All those different things, from the digital signage to speakers throughout the lobby spaces and the bathrooms, being able to make sure that we can send that live feed from the auditorium. So if you need to hop out real quick in the middle of a joke, you can still make sure you catch the punchline. So our last thing that we'll show off, again, the epoxy floor comes into this back storage room. The epoxy floor goes right into our new prep kitchen, and you can see some of the new doors that have been, they're starting to install, starting to paint out some of the door frames. The new prep kitchen here is about completed, other than the equipment that needs to go in. Ceiling tiles are in, all the receptacles, everything else have been installed. So now we're ready to start bringing equipment in. Again, this room is going to house our new ice machine, which we haven't had. And we've talked about before, Brandon, typically when we had shows, used to go sometimes once a week and pick up about 50 bags of ice, bring them back here. We had 3 freezers throughout the building that we had to hide all of this stuff in and bring it into concessions. So to have an ice machine here is going to be huge. Make our lives a lot easier, especially with private events, other things. People sometimes forget to bring in ice, and we wouldn't necessarily have it on hand. So a great amenity to be able to add, as well as all the sinks and everything else, and this prep kitchen that are going to allow us to support our new liquor license, whether it's prepping limes, lemons, other things like that. We also hope to eventually start expanding our concessions menu, and so stay tuned for that as we hopefully expand beyond 90 years and expand our concessions menu.
Expand our concessions. So I have a few questions about if bathrooms will be open during Cornfest and if merch will be sold. We are preparing for Cornfest. We're watching constantly. You know, things are changing almost on the daily. But yeah, we are preparing to hopefully be open if Cornfest is a go. So we're always kind of a centerpiece at Cornfest. We're right outside the beer gardens, so it makes sense. So yeah, we're preparing that hopefully if that can still take place, we'll be here for you guys. Yeah,
in terms of merch, anytime we are open, we will be selling merch.
Always.
But you can also now 24/7 go online and buy merch. We've got t-shirts on there, tumblers, magnets, and just newly added this past week, I think, we now have posters on there. And we're continuing to look at some other items. All of these currently are featuring our awesome custom illustration that we commissioned for the 90th anniversary of the theater. If you haven't seen it yet, go to our website and check it out. It's absolutely amazing.
It's awesome.
We've really enjoyed seeing it used in so many different ways, but really cool to start seeing it on merch. So again, tumblers, magnets, 2 different color t-shirts, and then these really nice posters. They're 18 by 24, an awesome piece, glossy, hard cardstock. I can't wait to get one framed and put it in my house. I know we have a number of people looking to get them framed and put in their offices and other things. They're absolutely stunning. So
I love them.
Check those out. You can buy all of that online through our website.
Or our Facebook page. We'll take you right to it. It's under Shop Now. It has all the images right through there. Pretty exciting.
And you can get it shipped to you, as well as we now have pickup opportunities.
We do.
So, any other questions before we start to wrap stuff up here? I don't know if we want to see if it's raining outside. We might be able to peek out and show off the last thing that actually just happened this week.
Oh, nope. That's a solid no. I love you guys, but drive by 2nd Street.
Well, then
it's pouring.
Well, we'll leave it as a teaser for next week, since a tropical storm is currently underway here in DeKalb.
It's very exciting times.
Yes. So we're going to wrap it up for this week, and we want to thank you for joining us. But we talked about merch, other things online. There's other ways to support us, and that's by supporting this project. Again, you can go to lightscamera.donate.org and make a donation online. No donation is too small or too big, as we always say. Every little bit is going to help us finish this project. You guys are going to be amazed. This is going to make an incredible experience every time you come to any event here at the Egyptian Theater, and is going to make sure that this beautiful community treasure is around for many, many generations to come. So we thank you, everyone that's donated and supported thus far, and if you haven't yet, we'd really appreciate your support on this project.
we thank you guys and keep tuning in to our Facebook page. If you want to check out our Instagram, especially our stories, has post pretty much daily because there's stuff happening every day. We're walking around. Our contractors love us because we bug them constantly. We really do like them. And
they're on their best behavior because they never know when a camera is coming around.
That's
the corner,
true.
so.
I'm always like language. So it's really fun to see the most up to date. So if you're missing your Egyptian updates between your Tuesdays, check out our Instagram, and that will have the stories. And then I add to the stories. So if you want to start, it's over a year now.
Yeah.
Our expansion highlight bubble at the top. You can see from groundbreaking to today all of the highlights that I've posted on our Instagram page. So if you're bored, check it out. And if you aren't bored, still check it out.
Yes. So thank you for joining us tonight. On behalf of Janine and Brandon, we appreciate you spending some time with us to see all of the improvements that have taken place over the last couple of weeks here. We will be back again next Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. live on Facebook with another virtual hard hat tour and all of these fun construction updates.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Have a good night.